Hey everybody, I'm here to show you how to install MediaWiki on a CentOS 7 box. I did this a while back and had trouble finding a YouTube video or anywhere that took me from all the way through it and got me to a point where the website was working in one, just in one nice video. So I'm doing this to put it all in one video, hopefully make it easier on someone else. So here on the left, I have VirtualBox with CentOS 7 installed. It's a basic image of it with just the GUI and OS. I have set up the network and I have installed Guest Edition so I can make the window bigger and easier to see. That's it. Over here on the right, pretty much have a list of all the different commands I was using when I had to set it up myself. So I'll go through this real quick on the right, and then we'll jump on the left and actually do the commands so you can see them run and see all this stuff. So this first part we got to worry about that was helps get my network running by doing terminal commands, but my network's already working. So over here, first thing we do is install Apache, which in CentOS 7 it's called HTTPD. We install that. We open up ports 80 and 443 through the firewall, and then we make sure that we can see a web page. There's a default Apache web page. Once that's good, we're going to create the host file. This file is used so that Apache knows where to look for your stuff for your website. We'll create the folder that all our web files will go into, and we'll create a test web page so that we can look in the web browser and make sure that everything's working so far, and then we'll remove it. At that point, we'll go ahead and install the packages we need for MediaWiki, which is quite a few. MediaWiki uses PHP, so we're going to do some stuff to test our PHP and make sure it's working, because that's important. If it is, we'll go ahead and install MediaWiki, untar it, put it in the folder that we created for it. I'll talk about some of this later. And then we'll go ahead and test to see if we can see the basic MediaWiki page. If we can, we will go ahead and set up the database, because MediaWiki does need a database to work. And here's the commands to set that up. So there's all the commands. I'll put this in the comments section or something if I can, but I'll load this up to YouTube. So let's go over here and just start running through the commands. I am logged in as root. I don't know if I should be running all these commands as root, because I don't want you doing a lot of stuff as the root user, but it's going to make it easier for me right now in this video. So if you don't want to run it as root, you can run it as another person. You might need to use the sudo commands. Since I'm root, I won't be needing to use the sudo part of the commands. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make sure wget is installed on here, if we need to install it. And it is, so we ain't got to do anything. Cool. So then we're going to go ahead and see if Apache or HTTP is installed on here by trying to update it. We're going to try to update it. It's going to tell us it's not installed. So then we're going to go ahead and install it. Once it installs, then we'll go ahead and run this command, which is going to open up port 80 in the firewall. And it says success, and then we're going to open up, run the next one, which will open up port 443. Sweet. At this point, we'll reload our firewall so those changes can take effect. Sweet. And if you want to see what the firewall's doing, you can run this command here, list all. And in here, we should see under services, we got HTTP and HTTPS. This is what we just opened up. Sweet. So if you want to check your firewall status, this will tell you. Right now it's active and running. So we're going to go ahead and get that Apache running. And we'll check to make sure that it is actually running. Active. Sweet. Alright, so Apache's installed and running. Let's make sure it's working. So we're going to get our IP address, 10.02.15. And we're going to our browser and type that in. And we should get a test page. Yep, Apache HTTP server is working. Awesome. Sweet. Alright, so we're going to, oh yeah, and one last command. Make sure that Apache starts up every time the computer's turned booted up or whatever. We're going to run this. Alright, so now that we got Apache going, we're going to go ahead and create that file that we're going to need, so Apache can find our website and know where all the files and folders are for it. Here, I think a lot of times it's called the vhost.conf file. You can probably name it something different, but I'm just going to go with the standards. So use VI editor to go in there. I got just the basic stuff you need for it. There can be a lot more in here, I think, but this is what you just got to have just some basic stuff to get it going. So we're going to tell it we're looking at port 80. Our website's MyWiki. The alias is www.mywiki, and where it can look for the files and folders for our website, which is under the var www.html mywiki folder, which we have to create in a little bit. Okay, so save this. And then one other thing we got to change is Apache has a file called the httpd.conf file. This file is like all the settings for Apache. So we're going to go into here and we're going to look for the line that says server name, and you can do /server name to go find it. It is case sensitive, so capital S, capital N. Here we go, server name, and we want to uncomment this. Let's take off the pound sign, and we're going to change it to the name of our website, which is going to be mywiki.com :80. Alright, and then we're going to save that change. Alright, sweet. Alright, so that's that for making the little changes. Now we are going to make that folder that we need to create under the var www.html. We're going to create the MyWiki folder is what we're going to call it. There you go, make directory MyWiki inside var www.html. So now we got our location. We are going to put a test web page. Very basic. It's just going to say welcome to my website. I'm going to go ahead and restart our HTTPD. Oops. And what we hope is we can go in and see the changes we made. So now we know that. Let's go back here. Let's reload this page. And beautiful. Welcome to my website. Just what we created. So sweet. Everything's working so far. So we'll go back in here and we can remove that little page we created if we don't need it. That was just for testing. Alright. And then we'll go on down. Alright, so now that we got that working, we're going to go ahead and install the packages we need. I'm not going to lie, I don't know exactly what all this does, but I do know I had to do it to get what I needed. And we're going to install this Apple release utils, and the dash Y just means automatically yes everything. I am not a Linux expert. I will not pretend to be. Yes. And I wanted to make sure I got PHP 7.4. With MediaWiki, there are certain versions that work with certain PHPs, so you gotta see which version of MediaWiki you have and get a version of PHP that will work with it. In my case, PHP 7.4 is the one that worked, so that's what I used. Alright, and then we'll go ahead and install all the other packages that we need. There's a lot of them. You see them in here: PHP, PHP APCU, International, MB String, PHP XML, PHP MySQL, and then the Mariah database server that we're going to need. You'll see I do have another line of there that says install ImageMagick. That's not needed. It can be very, I think, very useful if you have a MediaWiki for dealing with images on the MediaWiki, but it's not a necessary thing to install just to get it running. Hopefully once this is all done, there we go. We will go ahead and test our PHP. So to test PHP, we're going to create a little file in the same location we created our little web page file earlier. And all you gotta do is put this one simple line in there. There we go. And that's going to tell it to go pull your PHP version. And if it pulls it, then it's working. If it doesn't, you got a problem. So I'm going to restart HTTPD. And now in the browser, we go back. And we're going to reload this page. And I forgot to put the end, but you need to put /info.php. Bam. And there's your PHP. If you pulled all this PHP version stuff back, then it's working. Great. So let's go back. We can remove that file. We don't need it. It's just for testing. I always want to use Control-C and it doesn't. Control-V doesn't work. Alright, there we go. Alright, so PHP is working. Alright, next time, let's go ahead and get that MediaWiki. I'm using version 1.37 or 137. There might be a newer version out when you're doing this. You'll have to see, make changes accordingly. Make sure you get the PHP version that works with your MediaWiki version. So now we have it. Let's go ahead and untar it. And then we'll go ahead and move it to the location we want it at. We want all the files in our var www.html mywiki folder. Alright, so since I'm on here as root, I don't want root access on all these files. So what I'm going to do is change it to a user I have on here just called wiki. And I'm going to make sure that that it's set to 755 read-write execute access. Alright, at this point is where I think I ran into some issues. So I would go back to my web page. I thought, okay, at this point it's going to be working. I should see the MediaWiki page. And I went and looked, and I didn't. I just got the Apache basic page. And I was like, what the heck's going on here? So something you can look is you can run this command to see if SE Linux is running, which is like security advanced, what the heck is it called? Security enhanced Linux. So if you run this command, it'll tell you if it's running or not. If it says enforcing, then it's running. That might be, I think that's one of the issues that I was having. So if you run get enforce 0, that will turn it off. Okay, I had to check real quick. Yes, so if get enforce is running, you can disable it. If you want to use set enforce 0 to disable it, then you can type get enforce again to see what it's done, and now it's at permissive. So now that I've turned that off, let's go take a look. And it's working. This is a pain because no one really talked about this until just one lucky video showed me this, because I got here and I was like, why isn't it working? On Ubuntu and stuff, I think you don't have to worry about this, but on CentOS 7, you do. So, awesome. So we got the main web page up. We're like almost there. Alright, so now that we got that, not going to worry about the rest. We're going to go ahead and set up the database. Got to get that database up for the wiki page. So, got the commands right here. Let's start the database. Let's go ahead and make sure it starts on boot up every time. And run the MySQL secure installation of it. So it says enter your current password for root. Enter for none. I already have one set up, so actually I'm going to I don't think there's no current password for root right now. I'm sorry. This is my database password, so I'm just going to put enter. Now, do you want to set your root password? Yes. Now you'll have a root password. So go ahead and put your root password in. Retype it. It says remove anonymous users. Yes. Disable root login remotely. Yes. Remove test database and access to it. Yes. Reload privilege table now. Yes. That's it. Pretty straightforward. You're just getting rid of all the things that I guess could be security issues in the future. Go ahead and getting them out of there. So now let's go ahead and log into the Mirai database. You can just type MySQL, username root, password, and last three password. And you're in. You know you're in because it says Mirai database on the left. So we need to create a database. We just create database, the name of your database. And then we need to grant all on this. Let's see. Grant all on MyWiki, that database, .star, everything to MediaWiki at localhost, identified by, oh, I don't think I have a, I think that was a different, when I was doing this before. Let's go back. I don't have a username called MediaWiki. Just wiki at localhost, identified by password. And put the password in. Oh, nope. Okay, sorry about that. I had to go make sure I had my line right. And I made two little changes. I went ahead and changed the username. Well, so I didn't get it all the way in there. It'd just be wiki. And went ahead and put in a password and the password you want to use. There you go. So that will give access to this person, which is my username is wiki at localhost, and the password they'll use. So now go ahead and flush privileges, so all the new stuff takes effect. And you can go ahead and exit Mirai database. Okay. So now if you go back to Mozilla Wiki, click on set up the wiki. I could just stop here, but I guess I'll go as far as I can real quick. Wiki languages, I'm keeping it as English. But at this point, you got a wiki page, you can set it up, and you can do your stuff. Environmental checks. The environment has been checked. You can install MediaWiki. Awesome. Continue. And you have to connect it to a database. Right here we have a Mirai database. There's a few different ones you can use if you want. You could have used MySQL. You could have used PostgreSQ, SQLite. But the MediaWiki website showed Mirai database. So that's what I used. Alright, so just scroll down. Yep, Mirai database. Put the name of your database, which I have mine over here. Create database, MyWiki_database. Oh, wait, nope. Leave that as localhost, sorry. Database name, there we go. Put in your password for the database as root. And you can name your wiki. We're just going to call it My New Wiki. And you can go in and add some more stuff, administrators, accounts, passwords. So you can tell if you want the wiki to be more locked down or less locked down. But that's it. I'll let you figure the rest of it out yourself. At this point, it's pretty easy, I'm sure. But hopefully this helps you out, whoever watches this, and you can set this up pretty easily now. Good luck.